Hey, today I'm going to talk a little bit about large language model operations or LLMOps. And I'm going to use a little bit of my experience as a machine learning person, data scientist, to compare it with MLOps and tell you why I think LLMOps is a requirement for new reference architecture, right? Probably you need a dedicated kind of stack for it. The first thing that makes the two very different is the purpose and the output of the models. I think LLMs by definition build stuff that are not that quantifiable, right? We used to have this risk assessment or sales forecast application, very easy to actually figure out what are the outputs. Now the outputs are text or customer interaction, much harder thing to actually monitor, or maybe different thing, maybe not necessarily harder, right? And the model development approach is entirely different as well. Like LLM ops are often involved with fine tuning existing models, which is a little bit of different story altogether, right? Think about transfer learning as opposed to training models from scratch, which was the norm in MLOps. Resource requirement, I think, is entirely different story altogether. Even we used to require a lot of computational power when we wanted to actually build these models, right? But now inference requires a lot of computational power as well. Just think about that and the implications. Feedback and evaluation, I think, are entirely different things, right? We used to be able to use traditional performance metrics to see and evaluate and figure out how the models are doing. Now it's all about user feedback. In some cases, like RLHF, we are using these feedbacks to actually fine tune the model, which is quite impressive, I think, and requires altogether new set of tools. And one, there's some similarities as well. Obviously, model development is different, but then some traditional stuff will be useful. Like in model management, I think we still require very good version control kind of story. And although the performance management is still there, I think like any other workload, we always look at how to optimize models and make sure that with whatever computational hardware that we have, we get good results, right? Data management will be very, very interesting topic. But if you look at it from training, I think we now require a lot of data to train these models, a lot more than what we normally were talking about. And even for retrieval augmented generation, training kind of non training or fine tuning, you still have a lot of data, and the observability of that stack is a very important topic. Um, Now, you might think that it's all about training or fine tuning. Not entirely. Even if you're using a managed model, you still have a lot of hyperparameters that you can tune. And even if you're using pre-trained models or services, you still need a very good observability tool to figure out if your deployment strategy was correct. Whether you've ran them on prem or cloud or wherever you're running them, you need to collect metrics to see if the output is actually what you were expecting it to be. I guess there are a lot of new things as well under the umbrella of responsible AI. Now we have a lot of things that are focused on I don't know, bias detection and general ethics, and they're all require continuous monitoring and getting user feedback. And you can think about it, A/B testing with user feedback will be a huge thing here. So operationally, there are new things, and ethical and bias monitoring, or whatever you want to call them, under the responsible AI. It requires new set of tools and capabilities. So what should we do now? I guess if you're on the cloud, you obviously want to start by using the platform that your cloud provider is giving you, like Azure Machine Learning Platform. But I guess, as we know, it's a multi-cloud story. There will be a lot of different things. You need to think about a reference architecture for this platform. Where am I going to collect all this data? What am I actually collecting in terms of metrics, and where am I going to store them in a way that it's not all depends on one platform? So what does that mean in hybrid or multi-cloud kind of story? I guess Azure Machine Learning is very interesting. I mean, in the cloud side of the story, I guess AWS has a very nice story to say, and of course Google. But then again, they might be a little bit too focused on their offering, and you might struggle a little bit for on-premise experimentation. There are a lot of open source tools that would be very useful. Thank you very much for your time.